I want to thank everybody for the tremendous support.
The president now at Walter Reed Hospital.
I think I'm doing very well, but we're going to make sure that things work out.
A major contact tracing effort underway as more people tonight close to the president come forward with positive test results.
He started to flirt with me and kiss me during school.
Plus, accusations that sexual assault inside a Colorado school were swept under the rug.
They started threatening to beat me up if I kept talking about him.
Tonight, the victim details what happened, and the teen's mother says this school failed them.
And a family snatches a puppy from a Centennial pet store. The store's owner now hoping you can help get the furry little guy back. In the last 90 minutes, former White House advisor Kellyanne Conway announced she has tested positive for the coronavirus. It was less than a week ago. Conway was seen mingling with others at a Rose Garden event for Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett. Conway, as you see, was not wearing a mask.
Conway says she's feeling fine, but consulting with her physicians. She's now one of 6 who tested positive from that event last Saturday.
Now, as for the president tonight, he is spending his first night at Walter Reed Medical Center.
Denver7's Gary BRODE joins us live. Gary, the president is speaking out from the hospital.
Jessica, in the last half hour or so, President Trump tweeting, "Going well, I think." We're also learning more from the president's doctor, who says President Trump will not need supplemental oxygen. However, he has already began and completed his first round of remdesivir therapy. A thumbs up from the president as he boards Marine One to check into the Walter Reed Medical Center this evening, where he'll stay for the next several days.
I want to thank everybody for the tremendous support.
ABC News sources saying the president experiencing a low-grade fever, chills, nasal congestion, and a cough. This diagnosis, the most serious medical threat to a sitting president in decades. President Trump releasing this update on Twitter.
I think I'm doing very well, but we're going to make sure that things work out.
The president considered high risk for serious complications given his age. But White House staff says the president is in good spirits. His doctor saying he received a single dose of antibody cocktails as a precaution, an experimental measure not yet authorized by the FDA.
I mean, I have a mask right here. I put a mask on, when I think I need it.
President Trump has been critical of health leaders' guidance, even at Tuesday's debate, mocking rival Joe Biden for wearing a mask.
When needed, I wear masks.
Okay, let me ask.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen.
Tonight, contact tracing a concern. Who has the president come in contact with? Who now may be exposed? After Tuesday's debate, President Trump traveled to Minnesota for a fundraiser and rally on Wednesday. ABC News has learned the president started experiencing symptoms that night. Then on Thursday, we learned his top aide, Hope Hicks, tested positive. The president attended a private fundraiser in New Jersey that same day before returning to Washington, D.C., where he learned he also tested positive. And with the president in the hospital, many now asking, will he invoke the 25th Amendment, which would allow an acting president to relinquish power to the vice president for an unspecified amount of time. White House leaders saying the president has not given that power and will continue to work for the next several days from the hospital's presidential offices. And it's important to note, with that antibody cocktail, the president did receive special approval from the FDA, as well as the company that makes it, to administer it to the president. Now, as for the First Lady, we're being told that she has a mild cough as well as a headache. She's expected to remain at the White House, where she will stay in isolation. Reporting live here in Denver, Gary BRODE, Denver7.
Gary, thank you. Tonight, we're also learning many of the president's family members who were in attendance at Tuesday's debate violated the rules of the debate set by the Cleveland Clinic by not wearing masks. The Cleveland Clinic hosted that presidential debate. Sharp contrast from others in the audience, including Dr. Jill Biden, who masked up. And we are learning people who walked into the arena without a face covering were offered a mask, but we're told the Trump family refused. The next presidential debate is scheduled for October 15th. Of course, it's not clear if that's going to happen right now. As for the debate between Vice President Mike Pence and Kamala Harris, that debate's set for Wednesday. We are learning that changes are already being made to create more space between those two.
Former Vice President Joe Biden's campaign announced they are pulling all negative advertisements in light of President Trump's positive test. Biden, who was on stage with the president earlier this week, announced he tested negative for the virus today. He tweeted he's sending prayers to the president and hopes he and the First Lady will make a quick and full recovery. Other confirmed negatives: Vice presidential nominee Kamala Harris and Vice President Mike Pence. Just a quick reminder, a negative test only means the person is not infected with the virus at the time of testing. Because the virus's incubation period can be up to 14 days, a negative test earlier in that time frame doesn't mean a person is out of the woods. So we'll still keep an eye on those leaders who tested negative today.
Colorado lawmakers, including Governor Jared Polis and Senators Bennett and Gardner, sending their well wishes to the president and First Lady tonight. And heartfelt messages from around the world. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who himself, you recall, contracted the virus earlier this year, all offering their best wishes and wishes for a full and speedy recovery. Even tonight, a telegram from Russian President Vladimir Putin.
It's one of the most watched races around the nation between incumbent Republican Senator Cory Gardner and former Governor John Hickenlooper. Tonight, the two hit the debate stage in Pueblo. Gardner stresses his commitment to Coloradans in some of the most rural communities and focused on his work passing the Great American Outdoors Act. Gardner continued to attack Hickenlooper on his ethics violations, while Hickenlooper hit Gardner on his support for eliminating the Affordable Care Act.
And then you turned around and you paid for your lawyers with the taxpayer dollars out of a post-9/11 economic recovery fund.
The accusations, there's no such thing as a 9/11 fund. You know that perfectly well. The problem is that Cory Gardner is not just lying to all of you watching this debate. He's lying to 2.4 million Coloradans. That bill has 117 words in it. It does nothing to say that insurance companies have to take people with pre-existing conditions.
Last month's polling shows Hickenlooper with a 7% point lead over Gardner. And a week from tonight, a reminder, Republican U.S. Senator Cory Gardner and Democratic challenger John Hickenlooper will go head-to-head in a televised debate. Our Ann Trujillo will be the moderator. The debate, hosted by Denver7 in partnership with the Denver Post and Colorado Public Radio, starts at 5 p.m.
About a dozen political signs on the front lawn of congressional candidate Mike McCorkle's home were removed overnight, thrown into the street. This was in his Parker neighborhood. And many of those signs were in support of Democratic candidates in Douglas County and across Colorado. McCorkle says he's just happy it was the signs and not his family that was harmed.
An Alameda High School freshman is suing Jeffco Public Schools. She claims the school failed to take action after she reported she was raped by another student at the school.
That teen, who has asked us not to reveal her identity, is tonight bravely speaking out to Denver7's Addie Guajardo.
School. It's touted as a safe haven for some, but for a freshman at Alameda High School, it triggers trauma.
He started to flirt with me and kissed me during school.
The victim was just 12 years old at the time. She says her predator was 17.
I told him to stop,
but it didn't.
He followed me home and sexually assaulted me.
The teen says she told the school counselor and her mom the next day.
It's devastating. There's no words for it. I did everything in my power to protect my daughter. Everything. And it was just taken away so fast.
The mom of the victim says she exhausted all of her options, reaching out to the vice principal, the school resource officer, and more.
The entire process failed me. They failed me when we reported the harassment. They failed me when we reported the sexual assault. They let my daughter get beat up in the bathroom and get bullied for reporting the rape.
Milo Schwab, the family attorney, says no action was taken until months later, when a second student claimed the alleged perpetrator admitted to the rape and other sexual relations with 12-year-old girls at the high school.
It's unclear that the school even took action, it's that the police took action.
Now, 2 years later, the family is now suing the Jefferson County School District. The lawsuit claims that Jefferson County School District was aware of sexual assaults on 7th graders by the same teen and failed to investigate the allegations and take proper action.
The goal is to change the school, to make the school address these problems and to take seriously sexual assault.
Denver7 reached out to the school district. A representative tells Denver7 the case is being handled by outside counsel and declined to comment. The attorney says the teen accused of sexual assault has pled guilty and will be sentenced in the coming weeks. This mother and daughter hope their efforts and pain lead to change.
But you have to report it, and we have to talk about it because we have to make change. And if we don't talk about it, then change is never going to come.
Addie Guajardo, Denver 7.
This year, dozens of companies have been hit with nearly identical lawsuits claiming they violated the Americans with Disabilities Act. The Denver Post was first to report. 52 businesses have been sued by a New Jersey law firm representing a Colorado man with impaired vision. The lawsuits claim the companies violated his ADA rights by not providing the proper audio enhancements on their websites, which is required under law. A lawyer from the Colorado Cross Disabilities Coalition tells Denver7 that though these lawsuits might border on frivolous, it is the responsibility of every business owner to ensure their websites are compliant.
What is the motivation of the person bringing a lawsuit? Is the motivation of the person bringing a lawsuit to get the entity to comply with the 30-year-old ADA, or is the motivation of the person filing the lawsuit to get some quick and dirty money and get out?
Denver7 reached out to the law firm and several defendants, but we have not heard back.
The owner of Perfect Pets in Centennial is on the mission tonight to find a puppy stolen right out of its pen on Tuesday. A family with 2 children walked into the store. They walked around for a little bit. They petted some of the puppies, picked some of them up. Then they walked out of the store with one of the Shih Tzus. The dog's owner of the store's owner rather, says he's worried about the dog.
If that dog gets stressed out and it doesn't want to eat, or they don't do a great job of caring for it, like they need quite a few special things like canned food and putting Karo syrup in the water, stuff like that. And if they don't provide that, that puppy could go hypoglycemic. They can easily die of hypoglycemic shock if not treated.
The manager is offering a $500 reward for anyone who can help bring that puppy back safely.
An outbuilding on the property where the old White Fence Farm sits went up in flames today. Fortunately, the fire didn't spread to the main building. White Fence Farm in Lakewood has sat empty for several years. It closed in October of 2018 and was slated for demolition. The developer who bought the property planned to build more than 200 apartments, but they sued the city back in March, claiming Lakewood's growth cap halted the development plans. It's unclear where that plan is right now.
All right, listen, we have to give a big thank you to you, our Denver7 viewers. Do you remember Jeffrey Paulson? He had his scooter stolen. Your donations to Denver7, Denver7 Gives, allowed us to buy Jeffrey a brand new scooter, had all the bells and whistles, but that was only the beginning. We checked in today with Jeffrey, and because of your generosity, his rent has been covered ever since. He used the money he saved to buy a car. That needed a little work, but then your donations covered that as well.
With all the support from Channel 7 and all the viewers, and I just want to say thank you very much. And I mean it. Because I couldn't have done it without that. I couldn't have done it without your help.
That's great. He said it best. Thank you for your generosity through Denver7 Gives. And we want to remind you, you can always make a tax-deductible donation to Denver7 Gives, and 100% of the proceeds will help people right here in our community who need a little help. So head over to thedenverchannel.com and click Denver7 Gives.